our country's in trouble because it's the wrong thing. I love this country. I didn't need to do this.
All right, Donald Trump there in Virginia Beach, Virginia, at Regent University, a university that was founded by Pat Robertson. Back to our panel, who is still with us, Jason Johnson, Noel Nikpour, and Mike Morey. The interesting thing about this, as we look at where he is at today, again, a university founded by Pat Robertson in a space that he needs a lot of help in, that specifically with Catholic voters, religious voters. He is not doing well. For instance, if I just look at Catholic voters, down by double digits, whether you look at white Catholics, Hispanic Catholics, pretty consistent, except for white Catholics, which we've seen at least in a June poll where he was up by 4. But that's always been the question here, Noel. Typically, the Catholic vote will go Republican.
And you know what? This is one smart thing that he is doing. So obviously, he is listening to someone. He is trying to make the case by speaking there and trying to appeal to that voter on a last-ditch effort. So if you look at it from a Republican strategist point of view, it's a smart plea for what he's doing right now.
Early voting was also what he brought up here, Mike. And the numbers that we've been talking about today, we're seeing a surge. We're seeing 2 to 3x in some states in terms of early votings at this point. The question is, you know, there are states where the Democrats are doing better in this early voting. There's places where Republicans are. What do you take away from this early surge?
Well, if you look at the surge of early voting, particularly in Florida, in North Carolina, and even Georgia, what you're seeing is a surge in early voting amongst women. Substantial increases over the last election. And yet today, knowing that, I mean, this isn't information his campaign wouldn't know, knowing that he starts off his talk today about suing women who accused him of sexual assault. It's a silly strategy. And what you're seeing is that there is, across the board, and it's shown itself in the polling, it's shown itself amongst white college-educated women, that they are repulsed by him, and they're starting to vote against him. He's a Republican. He should win white college-educated women. You know, I'd add, too, on the Catholic vote, you know, this is probably going to be the first time Donald Trump is likely to lose, could very well lose the white Catholic vote. Democrats generally win the Latino Catholic vote. But he could very well lose, and likely will lose, the white Catholic vote. They're not a monolith. They're not a voting bloc, Catholics. Catholics are generally swing voters. And though he may be appealing to sort of uneducated or less educated whites, Catholics, by and large, are actually on the higher end of the education spectrum, and that demographic is trending away from him and toward Hillary Clinton. You know, all the indicators suggest that all those votes that you need to clean up at the end of the election, he's losing. And so I understand why he's trying to appeal today.
Jason, how deep does this go? How generational might this be as we see some key points, some key distinctions now changing? Mike bringing up one of those points with the Catholic vote here.
Yeah, look, I think that this whole map, our electoral map, is going to be very different after this election. I think that our perception about what women, married women, people of color, how and when and in what ways they vote are going to be different. There's a really interesting poll, I think it was from Pew, that I saw about a month and a half ago, that 35% of married men say that they believe their wives are voting for Trump, but 45% of married women say that they're going to be voting for Hillary, which suggests to me that there may be a silent majority out there of women, even Republican women, who haven't told their husbands that they're voting for Hillary because they want to keep the peace, but they're going to go out and vote for Hillary Clinton. So I think we're going to see some fascinating numbers once Election Day is over. Most of them seem to be working against Trump.
Well, with that point, I've got to Noel on this. What do you think?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for that, for coming back to me, Richard, on that. I will tell you one thing. One of the things that's very interesting is, you know, you were talking about the Catholic vote. What are most Hispanics? They are Catholic. And the Democratic Party has been able to capture the Hispanic voter, which is predominantly Catholic.
All right, so that's what you're watching. Again, the numbers that we're looking at Pew coming out of June, this is, of course, some time ago, a lot of things have happened, showed that Clinton had 77% of Hispanic Catholics, Trump 16 percentage points with that. All right, Hillary Clinton about to take the stage in Pittsburgh. We'll be following that. When she does, we'll go straight to it. Here's some live pictures here as we continue to follow the trail on this Saturday. Right.